Hello everyone and welcome to another bonus episode. I'm Gabe, and today we're going to be continuing with a prompt from a long while ago, creating new 3-stage designs. In particular, we're going to add some new grass types to the Palean region, with what I believe is a unique split evolution pattern. Alright, let's start off with a comment that helped inspire the line. First Waddle D suggested we do something based on simple machines, and that's just so much fun. Not only that, but it lets us do a split evolution with someone else's idea. So, almost as if we're crafting, we're gonna have to gather some raw materials before we start making any kind of machine. Our first stage is going to be based on fibrous and versatile plant materials. We're going to give it 2 big tufts that it holds above its head in a way that, like they're just starting to wrap around one another. Body plan wise, I was also excited to make a round plant, kind of like Badoo or Bouncewheat or the new Smoliv. Honestly, it's hard to screw up this kind of super simple, cute design. Slap a couple little peg legs on there, big old happy face, and of course, it's gotta be round. Oh, it also probably doesn't make the most sense for this and the Badoo line to be closely related, but I like that they both have, arm, vine, petal stuff that twists around on top of their heads. It's fun. And yeah, the colors felt good, something soft and reed or straw colored, and the orange breaks it up a bit, and it's pulled from an Egyptian papyrus illustration. Other than that, I don't know, not much else to say for this simple design. Here is Fibri, the fibrous Pokemon. The tough, flat fronds on this Pokemon's head are lightweight and strong. Fibri enjoy weaving one another's fibers into ornate braids, and given the chance they will attempt to do the same to other Pokemon or even people. Trainers should wear a hat to avoid getting Fibri stuck in their hair. And its ability is Leaf Guard, and that prevents major status ailments during sunny weather. It's pretty adorable, and I think we can safely retcon the Palean region to have this little guy show up on some of the earlier routes. But let's see how it could evolve to incorporate First Waddle Dee's simple machine suggestion. If you thought that Fibri was round, have I got the evolution for you. In fact, I would say that it is a wheelie good direction for it to move in. It's maybe some unfamiliar ground to tread, so I hope you can roll with it. It's a wheel. It's a wheel. Fibri is going to evolve into braided vines that wrap around a big hunk of stone, so that it's now gaining the rock typing. I thought about putting the face on one side of the wheel, which would have allowed it to be much more expressive, but I just liked it having a better idea of where it was going while it was rolling, so now there's an eye on either side in the middle of the wheel. Kind of like Whirlipede. Now, losing the mouth and a lot of the recognizable features, I knew that it would need some way to emote still, so I gave it a couple of arms. These braided vines would be used to drag itself around, interact with things, express itself, and flail above its head whenever it's rolling around. This certainly falls in with the other designs that just don't work quite as well in 2D. You kind of need to see it, having fun, rolling around, I think. Oh, and the colors of the shiny were also pretty great. I tried making the wheel more of a golden color, which just made it look like a wheel of cheese. So we're gonna go with that and have a cheese wheel shiny. Alright, let's see Fibril, the wheel Pokemon. This Pokemon is actually just a collection of strong vines. Fibril latch themselves onto round rocks in order to roll about. If their rock ever becomes too damaged, they will expertly craft another from nearby materials. Scientists suspect that in modern times this Pokemon may find wheels of other materials, but that is yet to be observed. Its ability is Speed Boost, since, it's a wheel. That means the Pokemon's speed stat boosts every turn. Again, it doesn't work nearly as well in 2D, but 3D modeling just isn't in my wheelhouse. But I think it's still a lot of fun. I always struggle coming up with Objectmon, so I'm thankful for the suggestion. But let's see what the third form may be. What's a slightly more complex simple machine? Time for a little pulley system. This ended up being more difficult to figure out than I thought it would be. I knew that I wanted it to be these, rope-like vines weaving through 3 wheels, but I didn't want it to remain as faceless, as the last design. But getting a face on that front top wheel was difficult. The idea that helped it from being just too boring was incorporating a crossed X of vines. This is like a subtle nod to the Kling Clang line, having, it's got a little X for one of its eyes. In fact, I don't think it's unreasonable to assume that this somehow led to the Kling Clang line. A few tufts of plant fiber also give our design the suggestion of hands, along with a couple of cute little pigtails on top. Colors were surprisingly tough as well. Getting the stone and the rope to gel with one another took a while, but we ended up with something pretty balanced. Alright, let's take a look at the 3rd stage. Ropel, the machine Pokemon. This ancient Pokemon has threaded its fibrous body through a series of carved wheels to become an incredibly efficient, simple machine. Ropel are always looking to perfect their pulley system with new objects whenever able. They are able to coast on their wheels much like a bicycle would, and have been observed giving other Pokemon and trainers high-speed rides. Its ability stays speed boost, so it'll just get faster and faster. Again, I have to thank First Waddle Dee for giving me a prompt to push me out of my comfort zone and try something like this. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. I also like that, lore-wise, it lends itself pretty well to regional variants. Maybe it could get a metal wheel, or Ropel ends up looking like a film projector, or something fun like that. If you have any wild regional ideas, I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. But this isn't the end of our designs today. Going all the way back to Fibri, it's going to get an alternate evolution that leads to another 3-stage line. Now, Stuff and Things suggested we do something with the art of making paper, and this let us meld our 2 lines into one. So, what could our fibrous plant evolve into? Yes, time for a lost and torn scroll. A scroll is an object mon that I'm seriously surprised Game Freak has not done yet. Our scroll is going to be slightly unrolled so that we can both get space for the face while retaining the visually interesting curl at the top. Maintaining a little bit of vinage, it also is going to get some strings with little tassels. Oh, and the tassel shape is actually a reference to the reeds used to make ancient papyrus. I went back and forth on how the face would be represented, but I figured that using negative space on the scroll would be the most dynamic. It would also clearly illustrate the flat nature of its body. And I waffled quite a bit with the typing. Both this and the final stage could have gone a few different directions. Obviously, the grass typing is gonna stay because, it's paper. But especially with this face, it could have been a ghost type. Ghost stories are a thing, and what is paper if not mushed up and dried plant corpse puree? It also could have been psychic too, helping unlock the mind's potential, or even fairy, fairy stories and the whimsy that comes with fiction. But in the end, I decided that we would go in a different direction and give some love to an underrepresented type in 3rd stage evolutions. It will have a diverse move pool to reference those other type possibilities, but it will be a fun little grass and normal type. In the end, it is just paper, a fairly mundane part of the human world. But enough of that, let's take a look at Scribri, the scroll Pokemon. This peculiar grass-type Pokemon has woven and flattened its fibers into a thin and flexible sheet. Scribri enjoy documenting and collecting things, which they roll up in their flat bodies. Their fondness for paper and ability to squeeze through tight openings means they have quickly overrun all the libraries in the Palean region. And its ability is analytic, so that boosts move power when the Pokemon moves last, so you kind of want it to be slow. Now, I'm sure that some of you will not be a fan of the normal typing, but I actually see this as another opportunity for regional forms. But before we speculate on any of that, let's take a look at the final evolution. And as if there was any doubt, we have to do a book. Now, I knew that I wanted this to essentially just be a book, since it's the normal type, but we have to have a couple details to give it a little more personality. First, not to be too obvious, but it just needs a ribbon bookmark tongue, right? I mean, maybe that's too on the nose, but it works for me. And secondly is how we get an eye on this thing. When I was first brainstorming, I was thinking, the eyes could be peeking out from between the pages or like torn bits on the cover. But then it hit me. You know what shape has an eye and is already tied to the written language in the Pokemon world? The unknown letters. By plopping an unknown shape on the cover, it gives us a fun thematic eye. For this rendering, I'm just using the A, but I actually love the idea that whatever you have named the Pokemon, the starting letter will be reflected on the cover. Oh, and you'll see when we get to the Dex entry that lore-wise, it's actually fine for the letter to change if you ever decide to rename your Pokemon. So that's pretty awesome. I love it. Oh, it also wasn't completely intentional, but I am also enjoying the kind of mimic vibes that this gives off. All right, but let's take a look at Libernon, the book Pokemon. The pages contained within this Pokemon's mouth are covered in strange symbols. Researchers suspect that there is some connection to the Pokemon unknown, but nothing is conclusive as of yet. Each battle that a Libernon participates in changes the symbols on their pages. They have been seen stealing books and gifting them to their trainers. Its ability remains analytic, so it wants to be slow so it can hit hard. It's pretty mysterious and strange, and honestly, I think it's refreshing to have a fully evolved normal type with interesting lore. But I would love to hear what you think of it, and what regional forms you might imagine. It's fun to have this strange split evolution tree that still has a good amount of possibilities, though I haven't actually figured out how this split evolution will work, so let me know down in the comments below if you have any ideas what should determine if you get a Fibril or a Scribri, bonus points for any new and wacky methods. Alright, a huge thank you to First Waddle D and Stuff and Things for their suggestions. It's been great to work on some more bonus content again. I think the next one will be tackling some evolutions for the Paradox Pokemon in Pokemon Scarlet, so keep an eye out for something along those lines. Thanks again for watching, and please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you at episode 25 when we will finally confront Professor Ginkgo. Bye!